Good afternoon. In today's session, we have to study about the characteristics of DC shunt motor. In previous session, we have studied about the DC motor, DC generator. These are the types of the DC machines. These we are calling as the electromechanical energy converter because if there is a DC generator at that time, it is used to convert mechanical energy into electrical energy, and if we are using the DC motor at that time, it will do exactly vice versa functions of the DC generator. It means what? It will use the electrical energy and it will provide us the mechanical energy. That energy can be in the form of any form. It means what? By using this DC motor, we can use the electrical energy and we can get the different form of energy. We will get the heat, we will get the light, all these types. It means what? We can convert one form of energy into the other. That's why we are calling these as the energy converter. And these are converting electrical into mechanical or mechanical into electrical. So we are calling these as a electromechanical converter. Then we have studied about the EMF equations in the DC motor. If you see, we are using the stator and the rotor in the DC motor. Stator means what? The part of the DC machine which will not rotate, which will remain constant when we are giving the power supply. At that time also this part will remain constant. This part will remain stationary, but they will do the work. This we are calling as the stator. If you see the construction of the DC motor, we are calling pole and yoke as a stator. Then we see in the construction of the DC motor, DC generator, we are using the armature conductor. We are using the field winding. We are using the brushes. We are using the commutator. All these parts we are calling as the rotor because when we will give the power supply to the DC machines, at that time this part will rotate and they do the functions. That's why we are calling this as the rotor. Then we have studied if this will rotate, we can denote speed by letter N. Raghav Kulkarni, please mute yourself. Okay. If this will rotate at that time, we can say speed is denoted by the letter N. Okay. Then we have seen if we are calculating the EMF, you will get NP5 into Z upon A upon 60. Because if you see, we are measuring speed of that rotor in the rotation per minute. But if we are supposed to calculate the value of generated EMF or back EMF, at that time we are taking time in the seconds. So we can convert that rotation per minute into rotation per second. Then we have seen about the torque equations. Then we have seen there are the different loads we can connect at the output of the DC machines. This load can be domestic, this can be agricultural, this can be industrial as per our need. We can use the different loads. Then we can see if we are using at the domestic level, we can call this as a single phase load. And if we are using these DC machines at the industrial level, at that time we can call this as a three-phase level. Now, in today's session, we have to see about the characteristics of DC shunt motor. So, firstly, we will see what is meant by DC shunt. We have seen already the types of DC motor. We have seen self-excited and we have seen if we are not giving personally, individually power supply to the field winding. If we are giving the power supply to the DC motor and it will create the supply and it will goes to the field winding. At that time, we are calling that as a self-excited. And we can call separately when we are giving the separate power supply to the field winding as well as to the armature. So in today's session, we have to see how DC shunt motor will work. If you see, generally the three characteristics curve are considered in the DC motor which are related with the performance of the DC motor. We are calling this DC motor as a DC shunt because if you see the construction diagram, When we are giving here the power supply, at that time you can see the armature winding and this field winding are in parallel with each other. Shunt means what? In electronic language, parallel के लिए हम synonyms we are using as a shunt. That's why I have written here the shunt field. So here you can see the field winding is in shunt with respect to the armature. That's why we are calling the DC motor as a DC shunt motor. So when we will give the power supply, at that time some amount of current will go to the armature and some will go to the shunt winding. So we are calling that current as a total current. When we will give the power supply, at that time that current will be divided. How it will be divided? Some part will go to the armature. We are calling this machine as a motor. That's why I have written here EB. And if if you are supposed to explain about characteristics of DC generator, at that time your diagram will remain same. Only what is the difference? ये EB की जगह क्या रहेगा? EG. Because in DC motor, back EMF we will get. Why? Because that EMF will be in opposite direction with the supply voltage. And when we are using the DC generator, at that time EMF created EMF will be in the same direction with respect to the supply voltage. So what will be the difference? Only EB की जगह EG रहेगा. So what we are saying, when we are giving the power supply, at that time total current will be divided into armature current and the field current. I have given here IF for the field. Madiwala, please mute yourself. Okay. I think my 5 minutes will go only to tell you about the mute and unmute. Just wait for me. Okay. So what we are saying here, this major winding is in parallel with the field winding. So if we are supposed to calculate the values of voltage and current, at that time only we will get the values of torque, values of speed, and we can draw these three graph. Because what we are saying, when we are supposed to study about the characteristics of DC shunt motor, at that time we will require three characteristics curves, three characteristics graph. Which graph we will require? We will require torque versus armature current. So it means what? We are supposed to calculate the armature current. ये शंट करंट है. This is the current flowing through the field winding. We are supposed to find the equation for IA. Then we are supposed to study about the speed versus armature current. We are supposed to draw the curve of speed versus torque. So here, if we are having the DC shunt motor, at that time, if we are applying KVL to get the equations for voltage and current. So KVL means what? If we are having any loop, if we are having any closed loop, at that time the potential drop across each and every element, if we are calculated and we are taking the summation of that potential drop, at that time it will become zero. KVL states that algebraic summation of potential drop across each and every element between closed loop will be zero. So if we are applying KVL, you can see this is the open loop. So we cannot apply here KVL. But if you see this, the armature and shunt field winding, these are connected parallel with each other. So we can apply here KVL. If we are applying here KVL, you can see if two or more than elements are connected in parallel, at that time voltage will remain constant across each and every element. So if you are trying to find the equations for voltage according to the Ohm's law, you will get here voltage equal to IR, because V equal to IR. Here if you see impedance is RSH, Actually, if you see, this is the field winding. It means what? Here we are using the inductor. Winding के लिए हम क्या use करते हैं? Inductor. But when we are supposed to calculate the equations, to derive the equations for voltage and current, at that time we will be needed the impedance. That's why I am calling RSH as a impedance. So if we are supposed to calculate the value for voltage across this field winding, that will be according to Ohm's law. You will get I into R. Here if you see that current we can call as the field current or we can call shunt current. That's why I have written here ISH into RSH. Now you can rearrange that equation if you are rearranging in the form of ISH, because you will be needed the armature current. For that, you will be needed the shunt current. So we can rewrite this equation in the form of ISH. You will get ISH equal to V upon RSH. If you are giving it equation 1, I have written the terms which these are derived for. You guys are aware about this. So you can see the value of voltage which we are giving and that value of impedance, these are constant. If these are constant, the value of ISH will be also constant. And if the value of field current is constant, the flux in DC shunt motor will also constant, because we know Faraday's law states that if conductor is cut by the magnetic flux, at that time EMF will get introduced. And if the value of current is constant, जो flux generate हो रहे हैं उसका amount भी constant रहेगा. So we can see if ISS is constant, we will get the constant amount of flux that will be generated in the DC shunt motor. So now we can see in the form of equations. We know already these equations we have learned in the EMF equations. So you are supposed to understand these equations. Now, if you are applying here KVL, if you are applying here KVL, total voltage V equal to the voltage across armature, that will be EB. Sorry, you can write IA into RA, or you can write EB, because EB is nothing but EMF. EMF is nothing but power supply. Power supply is nothing but battery, voltage. All are having the same meaning. We are supposed to calculate here voltage. So यहाँ का potential drop क्या रहेगा? ये armature का EB. So we can take as it is EB. V equal to EB plus, if you are applying here KVL, you are supposed to write the value of voltage flowing through this DC motor. That will be EP plus IARE. It means what? You will get here, if you are converting, rearranging that equation in the form of EB, you will get EB equal to V, ये IARE राइट साइड में है, तुम लेफ्ट साइड में लोगे, it will become the negative. So you can write EB equal to V minus IARE. Now, but we know about the back EMF. Back EMF is nothing but NP phi into Z upon A into 1 by 60. So what we can do? We can write that EMF equation here, because we are supposed to derive the equations for armature current. हमें IA का equation निकालना है. That's why what we are doing. Firstly, if you are trying to find the value of potential drop, value of voltage for the armature winding, you will get the DC motor में EMF जो generate होता है, we are calling that as a back EMF. And when we are giving the power supply, at that time, if there is a resistance, some amount of current will flow. So we can take as a potential drop equal to VA equal to IARA. So I can write here V equal to EB plus IARA. When I am rearranging that equation in the form of EB, you will get these equations. You can assign that equation as 2 number, because you will be needed these equations in the next session. That's why I am giving here the numbers. If you want, you can give, otherwise you can skip. But we know back EMF. So if you see, we can assign P upon 60 into Z upon A. as a constant term K. If you are assigning, you can write again EB equal to, I am writing in the short form. That's why I am assigning P upon 60 into Z by A. Already these equations we have studied in the torque equation. Torque में भी हम क्या करते थे? P upon 60 into Z by A को K assign करते थे. So we will get EB equal to K is nothing but constant. Phi is nothing but generated fluxes and N is speed. So we can write K phi N wholes. So if you are getting here K phi N, you can again take K into phi as a K1. If you are considering again one constant, you will get EB equal to K1 into N. Now, we are supposed to solve these equations. Now, we are having the equations EB equal to V minus IA RA. Our third equation is EB equal to, I am writing the same equation as it is here. You can see here. The second equation is as it is, and third equation I am writing on the next slide. So we can take these equations as it is. So you will get here the armature torque is directionally proportional to the product of flux and the armature current. Because when we have derived the equation for torque, you will get K2 phi Ia. So accordingly, you can say armature current is directly proportional to the torque. So we will writing here the armature torque is directly proportional to the product of armature current and to the flux. So we'll get torque will be proportional to phi into Ia, where we can considering K2 as a constant term. Again, if you are considering flux as a constant, K2 phi, तो तुम लिख सकते हो K3. You can write torque equal to K3 Ia. So you will get torque is directly proportional to Ia. So can anyone tell me how our graph will look like? Strength अच्छा है आज. I will take firstly attendance. Okay. Can anyone answer the question? Okay, it's fine. You can see here. When we are taking torque directly proportional to the Ia, I am again writing the same equation as it is to understand this curve. You can see here. I have written the second equation, third equation, fourth equations, which we are getting. I am not writing by own. These are the standard equations you will get when you will study about the EMF equation and the torque equations. And when we are applying the KVL to the DC shunt motor, you will get these equations. So I can write the equations of back EMF in this equation. So you will get torque is directly proportional to the IA because K is a constant term. When we are putting third equation in the first equation, you will get K1N equal to V minus IA RA. Now you can convert that equation in the form of speed. If you are converting, you will get N equal to minus IA RA upon K1 plus V upon K1. Why we are calculating N? Because already we have calculated torque. We have calculated IA. We have calculated here torque equations. Torque equations. We are study about torque is directly proportional to the current. But when we are supposed to study about the characteristics of DC motor, at that time you are supposed to study about torque will be directly because you will be needed this graph. Torque versus armature. So you can see here torque is directly proportional to the armature. तो जैसे जैसे करंट बढ़ेगा वैसे वैसे torque बढ़ेगा. Now you are supposed to draw the graph in the characteristics of DC shunt motor for the speed versus armature current. That's why we are calculating the equations for speed. That's why I am rearranging these equations to calculate, to derive the equations for speed. When we are putting the EMF, back EMF equations in the equations which we will get from the applying KVL to the DC shunt motor, you will get the equations for speed. So you can rewrite these equations in the form of speed. You will get N equal to minus IA RA K1 plus V upon Q. If you see these equations in the form of mx plus c, and what we are saying mx plus 6 in the mathematics, you guys in the second standard, second year, na? So do you aware about y equal to mx plus c? Because in maths there will be the equations of straight lines, in which if you will get the equations of line as mx plus c, that is nothing but it is the slope of straight line. So you can rearrange that equation in the form of y equal to mx plus c. So here y is nothing but your n. C is nothing but this constant term V upon K1, and mx is nothing but minus IA RA upon K1. So you will get this equation is nothing but the slope. So if you are trying to draw the graph for speed versus current, you can give here current on x-axis, and if you are giving the speed on the y-axis, you will get the curve like this. You can see here the value of speed is negatively proportional with respect to the current. That's why you can see here the value of speed when you are increasing the current at that time, the speed value is going to decrease. And if we are not having any load at that time, your speed will be maximum. So you can say that speed as a no load speed. And if there is a speed, sorry, there is a load at that time, that maximum speed will goes to decrease with increase in current, and we are calling that maximum current as a rated current. So this is the characteristics of DC shunt motor for the speed versus current. If you see, we are supposed to calculate speed versus current. I have drawn the same graph and I have written here explanation how speed will be related with the armature current. If you see the characteristics of the DC shunt motor, it will look like a straight line because you are getting that equation in the form of slope. So it is a straight line with intercept on the speed axis, that will be equal to V upon K1, called no load. We are calling that as a no load because you can take here equation as, you can take here equation as if you are not taking no load मतलब RA का value 0 है, so you will get equation N equal to V upon K1. That's why we are calling that speed as the maximum speed. So we are calling V upon K1 as the no load speed. When we are taking IA as negligible or we are taking IA equal to 0 ampere. And if you see these characteristics of the DC shunt motor, that will remain almost constant from no load to the full load because there is a very minor change, and that is why we are using the DC shunt motor in the applications where we will require the constant speed. If you see here, it is decreasing, but it is decreasing in a very small manner. So we can say that speed is remain constant in the DC shunt motor with increase in IA current. That's why we can use DC shunt motor in the most applications where we will require the constant speed throughout the operations. If you see, we can take applications as lathes, spinning and weaving machines. If armature reaction is taken into account at that time, you can see here, if we are taking that winding, if we are taking there some amount of impedance at that time, there will be minor change. This red change we are calling as the, there will be the minor amount of change in the speed that will be decreases with respect to increase in current. Now we are supposed to see the graph for torque versus current. Already we have seen, we are getting the equation torque equal to K3 into IA. K3 is nothing but constant. We are taking K into 5, K2 into 5. We are calling this as a K3. So we know torque is directly proportional to IA. So that will graph will be a linear line. So लो slope रहेगा y equal to mx plus c. तो यहाँ पे तुम्हें मिलेगा y equal to m because we are taking it is as a constant. So it will be a straight line. So here in the DC shunt motor, torque increases linearly with increase in a armature current. But if you see, that can be shown by the black curve. But if there is a larger amount of current IA, the net flux per pole will be decreases, and as the flux will decreases, that will forces to demagnetize the effect of armature. मतलब जैसे तुम्हारा करंट कम होगा तो जो मैग्नेटिक फ्लक्स क्रिएट हुए हैं that will start to demagnetize, and due to which there will be some amount of decrement in the torque. You can see I have drawn by the red line. So we can say, but for larger IA, the net flux per pole decreases due to demagnetizing effect of the armature. Hence, the curve deviates. It will decreases some amount from the straight line as shown in the curve. Now you can see. Now we are supposed to draw the speed versus torque graph. So firstly, we will see. We will get the equations for the back EMF as NP phi upon 60 into Z by A. This is the equations of the EMF. Now we know all these things. Already we have studied phase, pole and all these you guys are aware about. When we are applying KVL to that DC shunt motor, we will get these equations. I have taken the same equations. I have given here EMF first equation, that back EMF equation 2 number. If you are putting the value of first equation in the second, and if you are rearranging that equation in the form of speed, you will get n equal to eb into 60 into a upon p phi 0. So here if we are taking a is nothing but the area, because these concepts are related with the cross sectional area of the path of the field winding. So if P, Z and A, these are the constant term, you will get your equations equal to N equal to EB upon 5, because 60 is also constant. So if 60, A, P, Z are constant, you can say speed is inversely proportional to the flux and it is directly proportional to the back EMF. So I have written here the speed of DC motor is directly proportional to the back EMF and it is inversely proportional to the phi. Now, I have written the same equations here. I have written the second and the fourth equations which we will get. If you are putting the second equation in the fourth equation, you will get n will be directly proportional to EB का क्या है V minus IA upon phi. So here you can say the above equation shows that speed depends upon the supply voltage, armature current, armature resistance and the flux that are generated in the field winding. So we can say here variations of these three factors will be used for the to control the speed in the DC shunt motor. So there are three general methods to control the speed of the DC shunt motor. These methods are nothing but resistance variations in the armature circuit, because we can see here that speed is depending on the resistance. We can vary the fluxes. So variation of the field flux, field winding flux, and variation of the supplied voltage. So these are the three methods we can use to control the speed in the DC shunt motor. So when we are supposed to study about the speed control method, we have seen the value of speed is depend on the voltage, armature current, and the armature resistance. So the classification of speed control method are as follows: armature control method or the field control method. Because we know when we are supposed to control the speed, at that time there will be need to control the field speed, and also there will be need to control the armature speed, because both are the rotor in the DC shunt motor. So if we are talking about the armature control, again it is divided into two types, because here we have seen it is depending on armature current and the armature resistance. So we can say there is a armature resistance control method, there is a armature voltage control method. And if we are supposed to study about the field control method, we can say we can variate the field flux to control the field controlled speed of the field control DC shunt motor. So these are the types to control the speed of the DC shunt motor. We can see remaining syllabus in the next session. Now I am taking your attendance. If anyone is facing any issue, you can ask. Because nahi hoga wo consider with you. Okay. So in today's session, we have studied about the characteristics of the DC shunt motor. We are calling that DC motor as a DC shunt motor when the field winding is in parallel with the DC motor is in parallel with the field winding. At that time, we are calling that motor as the DC shunt motor. If we are applying here KVL to the DC shunt motor, we will get the value of voltage flowing across armature winding, that will be equal to IaRa plus Eb. And if you are calculating the voltage across the field winding, you will get here V equal to ISH into RSH, or you can say RSH into IF, because this is the field current. So you can rearrange that equation in the form of current. If we are applying here KVL for this, you will get here value of voltage across DC motor or across armature. Armature को ही DC motor बोलते हैं. Field winding it is parallel with that armature. So we can calculate V equal to Eb plus IaRa. You can convert that equation in the form of Eb, because when we are supposed to study about the characteristics of DC shunt motor, at that time you will be needed the armature current, you will be needed the torque, and you will be needed the speed. That's why I am converting that equation in the form of Eb. So if you are taking P into Z upon 60A as a constant term, you will get Eb equal to K into N. We are talking this as a K as a constant term. And if you are taking again K into phi as a K1, you will get equations Eb equal to K1 into N. Now you are supposed to study about the speed. Firstly, we can see if we are calculating the equations for voltage across DC motor, you will get equations Eb equal to V minus IaRa. You are getting the equations Eb equal to K1N. So we know torque is directly proportional to the flux, and it is directly proportional to the armature current. So you can see here the graph for the torque and armature current will be linearly proportional. It means what? If current will increase, torque will also increases. So here you can again take K2 phi as a constant term, and you can assign this as a K3. It depends on you how you are assigning. You are taking K3, K2 or only K. You can take only directly K at last also. So you can say here torque, in which torque is directly proportional to the product of flux and armature current. So if you draw the graph, torque will be directly proportional to the armature. Now we are supposed to calculate the speed. So if you are supposed to calculate speed, you can convert your EMF equation, back EMF equation in the form of speed. If you are putting your second equation in the third equations, you will get that equation in the form of armature current, because you are supposed to draw the graph of speed with respect to armature. That's why मैंने ये EMF के equation को armature current के equation में लिखा है. If you are rearranging that equations, you will get the equation in the form of speed and in the form of armature current. So here you can see the value of speed is almost constant with increase in current. That's why we can use DC shunt motor in lots of applications where we will need the constant speed. If you see the graph of torque versus armature current, it will be linearly proportional. It will be linearly proportional. But if you see practically, it is somewhat bit deviates, because if you see for larger armature current, the net flux will decreases due to demagnetizing effect of the armature. If you are writing that equation in the form of speed and the flux, you will get here, if you are taking A, P, phi, Z are constant, you can see speed is directly proportional with the back EMF and it is inversely proportional with your generated flux. Here we have finished about the characteristics of the DC shunt motor. If anyone is facing any issue, you can ask me. Otherwise, you guys can leave now. Taken already your attendance. Okay. Thank you.